I am Randall Coons. I'm the, self-proclaimed leader of the Veterans Landing. I just got a couple of questions. Mr. Howard, how did you sleep last night?
I didn't. I woke up I was telling Rich, I was up about every hour. I had my TV on mute just to see where we were at.
Oh,
so I
okay.
didn't sleep very good.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people didn't and stuff, you know. Angie, how was dinner last night?
It was good.
Good.
Yeah.
Reason why I ask those questions and stuff is because we have veterans that are trying to find a warm place to sleep in K County. They come to our Veterans Landing, and the only meal that they would get is either if they get it at the church, or if the church is closed, then they get it from us. You know, I started the Veterans Landing years ago, and a lot of people in here knew my vision, what I kept wanting to do, okay? And every door that I would go through would get closed, but there was another one that opened. And I want to tell you right now, if it wasn't for the city, Veterans Landing would not exist. They knew of my dream, Lawrence Ballil, David Myers, all of them, they knew what I wanted to do and what I wanted to create, and so they came to me and gave me a proposition that I couldn't refuse. So they gave me the start. But it's really important because the Veterans Landing is there because when a veteran comes in, okay, we don't immediately go up to him and say, hey, what do you need? We say, welcome. Want a cup of coffee? Once we get them in, they come in, and then if they need something, they'll let us know. Now, you know, a lot of us that served in the military, okay? We've got demons. And what I mean by demons is there's things that happened over there that we can't shake. You know, I do. There's things that I experienced over in Afghanistan and Iraq that I pray to God that nobody ever has to see or do again. And yes, I had to see, and I kept it suppressed for so long. And all of a sudden, you know, it was like I didn't like the way my life was going. So I reached out and I got help, okay? It was the best thing for me. You know, the saying that we lose 22 a day, okay? You know, I was afraid that I was going to be one of those statistics. So when I started the landing, I can't move. Have to stay centered. No, I was working for the state of Oklahoma when they hired me as an employment representative. And I was working with this young man, and man, I was energetic, you know. The state told me we got to get them in and get them out. The more that we help, the more tick marks we get, the more money we get from the federal government. So that's what they wanted, tick marks. Get them in, get them out. I can remember this young man came in. He had on a greasy Ford hat, tank top, green nylon shorts. Sit down and I'm helping him. There was a program called VRAP. Okay, it was a vocational program, and he had become a welder. So he, when we got done, I got all the paperwork, and he got all his paperwork. I said, all right, man, got to help the next person, you know. He just kind of dropped his head and, you know, was like standing there, silent. After about probably 35, 45 seconds or something, he picked the paper up and just kind of left. And I seen him from my window. I had a little bit of a window about like this. And I seen him out in his pickup, and he was just sitting there. He probably sat for 30 minutes. Well, as an NCO of the United States military, I failed that soldier. Because 3 days later, he took his life. Here in Ponca City. And it hit so hard. I was like, what could I have done? Could I have stopped it? I don't know if I could have stopped it or not. But that young man made such an impression on me that I was like, there's got to be something, you know. So I stumbled along, you know, trying to deal with it, kept going. thinking, what can I do? What can I have? What can we do, here in Ponca City? There's got to be something. We got the VFWs, we got the American Legions, the DAVs and stuff, okay? And I'll get to those in a minute. But the thing of it is, this younger generation that comes out, it's a whole different breed of character, okay? So I kept going and kept going and kept going and stuff. Well, lo and behold, Tulsa. I hate that town. I cannot find my way around in that town. And they say it's better laid out than Oklahoma City. I have to disagree. Okay? So anyway, I'm lost. No phone, no map, no nothing. I am totally I was like, fine. I'm just pulling in. So I pulled into this parking lot, and I look up, and there is military emblems. Now, to this day, I know why I turned it in there. The good Lord told me that I needed to go into that building. He guided me into that building. When I went in there, it was like a sanctuary. There was a gentleman there that sat at the desk that greeted me and said, "Hey, how you doing? Can we get you a cup of coffee?" Well, by all means, I'll take a cup of coffee, So we got to talking. I'm like, "You're serious? That's what this place is. It's called the Coffee Bunker." I don't know if people are familiar with it. It's just like the Veterans Landing, only about 15 times larger. So I was like, and so I started talking to the founder of it, Mary Ligdon. Mary Ligdon. Now, if there was a sainthood for a non-Catholic, that'd be her. I'm serious. Because she took me under her wing and she guided me to open the Veterans Landing. She helped me out. When I was about ready to throw the towel in because I was like, man, people are not coming. We was up there at City Central building and I'd have one person a week. They were winners all the time. Never failed. He would be there Saturday or Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. And I was about ready to throw the towel in. And Mary's like, "Don't do it. It'll happen." All of a sudden, 2 come in. Then another thing, next week we had 4. So then we started having people coming in, all right? And it was wonderful. The City Central building is the base of our success. And I can't thank the city enough. They're the ones. And so we've seen ourselves expanding. So, again, right place, right time, I think. But the good Lord put us together. Kevin Emmons, I know a lot of y'all know him. I grew up with Kevin, me and him, and he said, "Hey, I got a place you might want to look at." Wow, okay. So we went and looked at it, and he shot me a deal. He said, "I want you to succeed. Here's the opportunity." So we started at 111 North 4th, okay? And we started expanding and stuff. Now, the Veterans Landing is there, like he said, to connect with a veteran. And that's what we want to do. I'm one of the things that really bothers me is we have these veterans that are homeless. Now, a lot of people will put blinders on. We don't have that problem in Ponca City. You don't see them. They're out there. The last count that I personally went out and done, not by the government or anything like that, okay, was I had 24 veterans that were homeless. Out of those 24, 8 were chronic. Okay, now I'm going to tell you the difference. Homeless is you're living in a domicile that you're not responsible for. Now, some people can actually say, your 18-year-old son or daughter is classified homeless because they're not paying no bills. Well, the government don't look at it that way. But anyway, chronic homeless is they got nothing. They're out in the elements, okay? Garfield Park. I find a lot of them. And a lot of times what they'll do, those picnic tables, those concrete picnic tables, they'll lay a black tarp over that, okay? And then they crawl up underneath. and that's their shelter. Or out at Lake Ponca. Believe it or not, there is a large population of homeless out at Lake Ponca. They live in those bushes that hedges and stuff where you drive by and you can't see, you just see the bush. Yeah, they're out there. They're constantly like nomads. But chronic homeless veterans that are out there. And this startled me when I talked to veterans and other homeless. Porch surfers. I was like, porch surfers. What they do is at night, they'll take and find a porch of somebody's house. They don't even know them. That's got the patio furniture on it. They'll go up there and sleep until it's daylight. I was like, man, you're going to get shot. Somebody's going to think you're a burglar. Well, at least we got a roof over our head and a soft place to sleep. I tell you, it breaks me up. It breaks me up. But that's why I do this. The Veterans Landing has helped. Well, I'll tell you, last October, we've helped 17 veterans. Food, they didn't have enough food to make it to the end of the month. 85-year-old couple. That is sad, okay? That they are like, we don't know what to eat. And when I asked them, I said, how have y'all been eating them? Well, So we went out and we bought groceries for them, all right? Transportation to and from the VA or a doctor's appointment. I had one gentleman, and I don't know, I can't remember who called me, but they said this gentleman has been trying to go to the VA, and he had already maxed out on misses. The VA is very stingy on, you miss an appointment, that's your first warning. You miss the second appointment, you're done. They ain't no going back. They ain't got time for that. That's critical time. So I had to call the Oklahoma City VA and literally beg them to get this gentleman in. And the reason why he couldn't go to the VA is because wheelchair. Now, Cimarron Transit, great organization, love them to death. I use them, work with them. $150 one way. Okay, so basically $300 out of that gentleman's pocket if he was going to use Cimarron Transit. Well, that can't happen. Okay, so I was able to arrange transportation for him to go down there and back. That's what we do. I have a young lady. I say young lady. She's in her mid-70s. Sharon Ridgway, lovely, wonderful, absolutely love her to death. She knows more about transportation than you can imagine. She's got this string of volunteers, and she calls them up. Hey, I got a veteran that needs to go to Wichita on such and such date. Boom. I don't have to worry about that. She takes care of it. And that's what we've done at the Veterans Landing, And the one person, I sit here and say that the success of the Veterans Landing, what we're doing right now, is because of me. It's not. I got a young lady back there that's like an office manager / boss lady / event creator, coordinator, whatever you want to call it, and that's my wife. She's there Tuesdays and Thursdays, religiously, 11 o'clock. That veteran walks through the door, she greets them by name. She knows if they like coffee, soda, water. She knows if they're hungry. She provides. My wife, Becky, that's her name. She's like, that's hers. She refers to it as the office. That's her sanctuary. And so when she comes in to help a veteran and stuff, she just, that's hers. And she gets brokenhearted, especially when she loses one. We lost a dear one we had worked with. He was actually homeless. We worked really hard. I actually had him staying, because I didn't have nowhere else, staying him in the Veterans Landing. So we had him there, and We was able to get him in housing. Everything was going great. Well, hadn't heard from him. I'm like, man, Frank, where you at? Kept calling. And then Tabitha at the housing authority called my wife and said that Frank had passed away. And that was, when we lose somebody like that, we're losing a dear friend, and it can't happen. So, but the Veterans Landing is there to help. We're solely supported on donations. Nobody in my organization receives any stipend, any pay. Okay, the only pay we get is the smile and the thank you that the veteran tells us. We've been very fortunate. We've had some private donations and stuff. Some businesses has come to us and helping us, and that's what it takes. So, with that, I'm going to open it up. Does anybody have any questions? Please. Yes, ma'am.
It's not a question. I want to say something. Veterans Landing, I have worked with Becky, and it is an amazing, amazing program. I have seen the countless hours she does put in when she's called me at night. It's amazing what they're doing for our community. Totally amazing.
Thank you, Angie. Yes, sir.
Well, I wanted to, during the month of November, recognize all the veterans monuments we have in Kay County.
Yes.
So I went out and photographed all of them in Ponca, Blackwell, Tonkawa, Newkirk, and at Tonkawa Indian Nation. But when I went to the POW MIA monument to photograph that, and the Vietnam and Korea monuments, there were 4 people in sleeping bags with their packets of stuff sleeping inside at that spot.
Yes.
And it really, I'm like, wow, we really do have homeless.
The question, well, it wasn't actually a question, it was a statement. He actually observed people at monuments that were actually sleeping and stuff. So, and that's true. And there's a lot of times that my wife and I will just go and get a couple loaves of bread, some sandwich meat, and some cheese, and some bottled water. We'll make up sandwiches, bag of chips, and a bottle of water, and go around and pass it out. But and it's, I don't ask you, okay, are you a veteran? Oh, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I can't do that. All right. And what is totally, gets me is when that little child comes up and looks at you, and they get so excited because they get, something to eat. That's awesome. So, one other thing I wanted to tell you is about Christmas. Okay, we always adopt a family. Okay, and I have to tell you this quick story. Had this family. They weren't allowed. Now they were not married, but they'd been together for 12 years. Okay, had 2 children, 2 boys. That one, man, I think he's got AAA batteries in him because he just wound up tied on a 9-day clock all the time, But anyway, they got referred to me, or told about it and stuff. Well, we were able to put the mother and the 2 kids in Peachtree Landing, but due to regulations, whether I don't know, it's their laws or whatever, but they weren't allowed to be together. Which I kind of like, well, I don't know about that. But anyway, so what I did and my wife is we talked to them and said, well, what if we get y'all married? We can't afford that. She's living in Peachtree Landing. He's living in his car. She would actually leave the Peachtree Landing and walk 2 blocks to check on him because it was so cold. And stuff. So anyway, we went together and we called a friend of mine down in Oklahoma City, well, a friend of ours, family down in Oklahoma City, which is a minister. He came up and he counseled them because you have to go through counseling and stuff. He went through counseling and they talked and stuff. We had a marriage ceremony up in the Veterans Landing. Got them married. We were able to put them together in Peachtree Landing until I could get them permanent quarters, and now they're safe. So that was really good. That worked out. So, and when we also adopted them for Christmas. And them boys, we got them remote control cars. Oh, Lord. They were so happy and stuff. So, okay, any more questions? Yes, sir.
Tell me again where you're located.
Okay, the question is where we're located. We are located at 111 North 4th, Street, Ponca City. You familiar with the Veterans Plaza? Right there on the corner of 4th and Grand. You stand in the Veterans Plaza, turn and look east, you'll see the Veterans Landing. We got our emblem on our door. We're hoping to have, we've got an artist at Studio 205 that's going to do our windows and stuff. So we're really excited about that. So.
It's in that royalty building.
Yeah, royalty building, yeah. We're right next to the alley. So
if people want to make a donation to Veterans Landing, what do they need to do?
well, right now, I'm working with, yeah, pass the hat. We're currently working with Holmes, Gates, and Johnson.
Yates, Holmes, and
Yeah, yeah. So we're currently working with them on our 501. But what's happening is I'm still, even though I've not got my separate 501, I operate under the VFW. So if somebody would like to take and do a cash donation and stuff, and they would like to receive a tax receipt, they can contact us. And what we do is I just call the national or the state VFW, and they issue the tax credit or tax receipt and stuff, which you can drop a donation by Veterans Landing, and that's about it. That's what people have been doing. So, yes, sir.
When did you actually start Veterans Landing?
2016. Question was when we started Veterans Landing. We had our grand opening in June of 2016. Trying to think, was it 16? Yeah, 2016. So we had our big grand opening, and we started. Great turnout on the grand opening and stuff, and so we've been going there. Because when we started to open up, the city offered us this facility to use. And we're getting ready to move in, and then all of a sudden we get told that we have to provide liability insurance. And I'm thinking, oh my Lord. So I called my insurance agent, Darren Dyer. I said, Darren, help me. He said, man, it's going to cost you about $275. He said, but you need to have this protection. So he said, you're looking at about $300. I was like, man, there's no way I can afford I'm funding everything out of Bud Coons' pocket, I can't afford $300 a month. So you know how you solve world problems laying in bed? Well, the 2 minutes that I'm awake, because I go to sleep pretty quick. Anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm like, hey, what if I talk to the VFW? So I did. I go talk to Gary Miles. Gary talks to everybody up, and it comes back down, so they blessed us, and I was actually a committee of the VFW. So that's how I operate under their insurance policy and stuff. So, and then that's when we started in 2016 and stuff. So, any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
So what can our community do to support you?
The question is, what can the community do to support us? Food, clothing, and cash. And the reason why I say that, okay, food is very important because we put sacks together, okay, and we give the families to make it last and stuff. A lot of times the cash we use is to actually pay for them to get back and forth from the medical facilities and stuff. The thing of it is, we have some that do so much. I mean, they're doing like 3 trips a week. And that can cost them some fuel and stuff. So what we do is we reimburse them on their fuel. We have Prairie Chapel Church gave us gift cards. And so when an individual would come in and say, oh man, I got my job, I got my clothes, I don't have enough gas to get back and forth. So we was able to give them a $25 gas card or gift card to get them back and forth and stuff. That's and the one thing that I would like is just the community to spread the word. Get it out there, We've got a number. Call us. I've gotten calls at 10:30 at night. I actually got a call about 1:30 in the morning. The wife called, and she was frantic about her husband. So I went over there. We went to Topeka, Kansas. I was able to take him, get the pistol out of his hand, and get him help. Now, the first thing I want everybody to understand, I am not a certified counselor. I don't diagnose. I don't correct. I listen, and that's it. And sometimes that's the best medicine. Some of our individuals. So, but volunteers too. Yes, sir.
What kind of food do you want? What is most beneficial, right? What food?
If it's edible, seriously, I've got a freezer that was just donated to us. Man, the thing is like, it's got this little digital thing on there. I ain't figured out how to work. A freezer that'll actually turn into a fridge. Yeah, donated to us. But yeah, frozen foods, canned foods, those things are what we use and stuff. Now also, Albertsons has been so gracious to us and everything. We get donations for them. I've got bath products, hygiene, toothpaste, toothbrushes, shaving cream, shampoo, conditioner, body soap. I got all that, and I make sure the veterans have that. So, any other? Well, Mr. Howard, I think I talked them out.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen and ladies. I appreciate it, and